Wait, how did he surprise you on you? What?
Okay, so I go to the bathroom to wipe the my face, like in between rounds. He follows me in there. He's like, get in the bathtub. I'm like, okay. So I do. And I'm like laying down. And then he literally just peed on me like that. And I was like, what the f on my eyelashes? And he's like, you're fine. And I was like,
You're fine.
What if I snuck into your bedroom, touch you while you sleep? We're talking about Trey Songz, bro. They calling Trey Songz the new Diddy or the true Diddy. I mean, I remember growing up, there was always rumors that Trey Songz was like sus. It's deeper than we know. So anyway, leave a like on the video. Today we're talking about Trey Songz.
I'm just gonna show you this real quick.
See, if I snuck up in your bedroom, touched you while you sleep, would you act surprised as if you didn't know it's me? I came to steal your heart, girl. Don't call the police.
What? You know what's even worse about that clip? This is surface level compared to all the weird shit he's been accused of and is literally known for doing. Not even scratching the surface yet, y'all. Now listen, chat. I don't give a fuck how old this is. This is like overly creepy as fuck. No matter when it came out, like you gotta think about it. He was around 22 or 23 years old when this was filmed, bro. With him being born in 1984. At that point, right? I just personally feel like you should know a little better than to say something like this on camera. Like, song or not. By the way, this is Trey Songz for those of you who didn't recognize him. Now, Trey Songz has a bit of a really crazy history that we're gonna get into. This artist is insane. And y'all know how I operate. If you're new, maybe you don't. I don't get into the childhood of these artists unless it's super important, and in this case, it's not. I mean, all you really need to know about the younger years of Trey Songz is that he didn't even want to be an artist at first because he was too shy. Not too shy though, because once people started giving him recognition whenever he did sing, he started taking it more seriously. And after high school, he moved to New Jersey from Virginia to record his first album. That's literally all you need to know about his earlier days. I'm genuinely not interested in any of that shit though. Let's get to it. Trey Songz honestly reminds me a lot of Diddy. It's not even remotely a shock that they've worked together before either. When I say he reminds me of Diddy though, I don't mean he had tons of baby oil in his crib. I mean like, he's one of those artists that just feels untouchable because he has a lot of connections and power. And I've said this before, but a crazy nigga with power, connections, money even, is a horrific combination. It's literally to the point to where even his accusers were scared to say anything and come forward because they would have to deal with those repercussions more than he would. It's sad, bro. What's even more sad is I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. Trey Songz have bangers. We can't sit here and act like the man isn't talented. He got to where he was for a reason. But the sad part is that because of all these allegations and lawsuits against him, he's fucked himself over. It's funny because when's the last time you really heard about Trey Songz and it had nothing to do with an allegation, just music related? Probably a very long time, if you even knew about the allegations to begin with, by the way. The reason I'm even making this video is because I was talking to one of my homegirls and her birthday was coming up. I don't know why, but I started singing, "Go girl, it's your birthday, open wide, I know you Thursday." And she was like, "I love that song. What happened to Trey Songz? Why don't he make music like that anymore?" And I was,
you know what's crazy? That used to be my ringtone on my sidekick.
I don't know, this nigga is one of the most evil people in the music industry of all time. And she was like, "No, but you can make a video on it." So here's the video on it. Like I said, I'm skipping over the come up. Plus, this video is going to be a little different since, I mean, he's not a rapper. This is an R&B guy we're talking about. And I hate to group all black people together, but if you're black, you've probably heard at least one song from this weird ass nigga at this point. Like I said, bro, bangers. I won't lie. But because those songs got as big as they did, and he was seeing mainstream success, this nigga started getting cocky as fuck. Dissing R. Kelly, even though he literally helped him damn near get on by working on his debut album with him, Trey Day, saying auto-tune is dog shit, and anyone who uses it is basically garbage, and other stuff. And like I said, you know, when you make a lot of money and you're an overall insecure person, I guess, that just equates to you being a dick. A weirdo. Because in 2012, he was at a strip club, right? Apparently, allegedly, whatever, Trey Songz hit a woman named Donna with a wad of cash so hard that it literally left a black eye. He was arrested for this, and then later down the road, this case was settled outside of court.
Of course it was. Of course it was, but I just want to know why the niggas think that they can disrespect people just because you got money. How many times have we seen a rapper get arrested and then they get real disrespectful talking about, bro, you can't even feed your family, bro. You can't even leave nothing to your kids if you pass. Like, niggas always get to talking about money in a disrespectful, egotistical ass way. That's one thing I can't say about rappers, singers, niggas in the industry, you know what I mean?
Know what that means?
That means Trey gave her some hushy money to shut the fuck up and not talk about this ever again.
Exactly what that
Too
means.
bad it's public record, nigga. I'm talking about it. Now for 1 second, hold on. I want y'all to think, because this is still scratching the surface. Think about how hard, I'm not laughing. Think about how hard you have to hit someone to leave a literal black eye. Just keep that in mind. He did that with a wad of cash.
That's what I was
a
thinking
woman,
too.
by the way. Just again, throwing that out there. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, we could get into the whole Kevin Lyles conspiracy, which was Trey's manager for a long time. In the conspiracy, there is that once Kevin Lyles pushed Trey Songz in that Hollywood direction, with the way he used his connections to make him bigger, you know, it's a lot to explain, but basically, Kevin Lyles lost his power at one point, stepping down from 300 Entertainment. And once he loses his power, Trey Songz loses power. But other than that, there was a rumor that there was a bit more going on between these two than just managing.
I said, like, when I had got mad at Trey Songz and I had said some shit like, I just went off on him. And they, like, that kind of shit is unacceptable.
Was it a true statement though?
Yeah. It was definitely a true statement.
I gotta remember what this statement
But
was.
I couldn't. But I said he was fucking his manager.
Oh, I mean, well, Trey Songz.
Yeah, I said he's fucking his manager, and I said he some girl, and then all of a sudden now years
allegedly.
later, yeah, allegedly, right? Then later on, it turns out he the girl. So
Now, Orlando Brown is a very unreliable source for information,
No
but
cap.
you gotta think though. He's not the only nigga that has alluded to this before. People definitely think something else was going on there, and then it's like, why would he even say that?
Really no reason to lie. You know what I'm saying? I know some people might be thinking like, oh, he's trying to go viral, but you don't get money from going viral. I don't think anybody's really just trying to go viral. If I'm being honest, I don't know. Maybe a sick person.
That's because he was mad at him like he explained, but why would it go there? Oh, you're in a nasty relationship with your manager. What the hell? Why he say that? Well, there's also this.
I could say something about a Diddy party right now, but I don't know the rules of the game if I'm allowed to say it.
Say it. You'll be okay.
One of my boys, a social media influencer, this was early, back in like 2018.
What's one of your boys?
I'm not gonna expose him because he said some viable shit, but he was at a Diddy party and they invited him to Diddy's room. He walks in, Trey Songz was sitting on Diddy's lap making out with him, and they asked him if he wanted to join.
What the fuck?
That gotta be ain't no way.
They're all gay. They're all undercover gays. I promise you that. I promise you that.
You know,
that's the only issue with it. If Diddy and Trey Songz would just come out and be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, we be doing that, we be on that, then it's like, I don't think anyone would give a fuck.
This is a he says, she says situation, but again, why of all people would the name Trey Songz be brought up in a situation like that? You just gotta wonder.
You get brought up.
Moving on. Trey Songz' career is very ironic, if that makes sense, right? Because here's the thing. Like, he's supposed to be this R&B heartthrob sex symbol, mainly catered towards women, and yet he's associated with Diddy, probably done crazy shit with his manager along the, more suspect lines, and beats women, allegedly, by the way. But what's not alleged and literally on camera is a video of him at a show where his set apparently was cut short because the venue didn't allow artists to perform past 11:30. So guess what he chooses to do in front of an entire crowd? Have a little hissy.
Yeah, the singer that was arrested is Trey Songz. His real name is Tremaine Neverson. Now, last night he was on stage with other big stars like Chris Brown, putting on a show here where we are this morning at the Joe Louis Arena. In Detroit, there's a rule. You can't actually perform past 11:30. So when he was told up on stage that the set was going too long, well, he went on and told the audience that if they turned his mic off, he would go off. Well, they did, and he did. Take a listen. Yeah, this is video that was uploaded to Instagram by someone that goes by the name Jackpot the Juice. You actually see Songz tearing down that plexiglass inside the Joe. Now, police are telling 7 Action News he was also throwing items around, and that's how their officer was struck. That officer actually suffered a concussion. Now, the good news here, we have been told that that officer has since been released from the hospital. But as a result of all the hoopla that you're seeing on your screen here, Songz was taken into police custody. I'm told this morning that he's facing 2 charges. 1, resisting or obstructing an arrest. The second, malicious destruction of property.
Now, my only
pretty
thoughts on
serious.
this specific thing is like, why do people not look at stuff like this on a deeper level? Like, this is the work of a nigga who does not have his emotions under control, and that's a nigga to look out for. If you're willing to cause actual damage on stage in front of hundreds of people because you're mad, on camera by the way, there is absolutely no telling what he would do if he was by himself or
this
alone
isn't
with somebody
normal.
else.
Facts.
Like Keke Palmer.
Oh my God.
Now, for those of you who may not know,
hey, he's connecting the dots for me. I'm not gonna lie, man. Leave a like on the video, man. This is a great video. Shout out this guy.
Keke Palmer and Gay Songz used to actually be friends at one point. That was until 2017, where Keke had accused him of using sexual intimidation against her, all so she could appear in a music video for him.
What did you mean by sexual intimidation?
What does that mean?
I mean, just that, sexual intimidation. You know, I mean, like, I feel as a female, often I'm put in situations where sometimes males will use their masculinity, their sexuality to taunt you. You know, I hate to have to bring and say that and make it known, but I mean, look, I ain't the first person that's gone through. People have in college, in high school, but these aren't the things that I've experienced. So this was like kind of one of my first major experiences. You know, it would be like you going to a party where the biggest jock is there, and the whole time he's like, you know, you can get screwed, you can get this, you can get that, you know, and you ain't no little girl no more.
Now,
that's unfortunate that she had to go through that. I really hate that for her. I hate that for all women that go through that. I see it all the time. Let's save that for another video. That's a very deep topic.
even though she kind of explained it, I just have to say that sexual intimidation can be a very gray subject because a lot of people don't even really know what that means, but it's basically just, to put it simply, intimidating someone just sexual through manipulation and coercion. It's a lot of things that could really fall under, but long story short, Gay Songz did that to Keke Palmer. Yeah, we're still going, by the way. Knowing everything you know now though, if you didn't already, do you think he deserves prison? No, there's more. After the Keke Palmer incident, or incidents, other women actually decided to speak out against him because this type of behavior from this weirdo is not super uncommon. It just seemed like it was because we already spoke about how he's a quote-unquote powerful guy in the industry. In 2018, he was arrested at his crib in LA for DV against a woman named Andrea. She said he knocked her down, choked her, and punched her.
R&B singer Trey Songz is accused of attacking a woman during the NBA All-Star Weekend here in Los Angeles.
Well, today she told her story. CBS 2's Lisa Siegel has her words as well as what the artist's attorney has to say.
I was crying, terrified, in shock.
For the first time, the woman accusing Tremaine Neverson, also known as Trey Songz, of beating her so badly she ended up with a concussion, is speaking out about what happened the morning of February 17th. Her name is Andrea Buera.
I was attending an after party when Trey began yelling at me, choking me, punching me, and ultimately he knocked me to the ground.
Her attorney, Lisa Bloom, says the two had been friends for years, and he seemed to become enraged when she began talking to one of his friends.
I had to go to the hospital because he hit me so hard that I had a concussion.
Buera says the next day she had dark bruises on her body, face, and neck. Last week, she got a restraining order against Songz.
Trey Songz, you picked on the wrong woman this time.
Bloom says Songz has a history of allegations dating back at least a decade of verbally and physically assaulting others.
Now, if y'all were paying attention, I'm gonna tell you why I personally would have thrown the book at this nigga. Apparently, they had been friends for a minute, and as soon as she started talking to one of his friends on a deeper level, that really pissed him off. And with an ego as fragile as his, I could definitely see why he gave her the DOA special for this. Not saying I agree, but I'm saying I completely see this playing out in my head. Probably something like this. Also, another goddamn concussion. How hard does this nigga punch? You're clearly in the wrong industry, bro. Still.
I'm sorry, that's not funny. But nah, bro, it is kind of a trip as a man. I don't know if we always think about how sensitive women really are. Because I know women like to women be woofing these days. Women really be ready to fight something. But women are genuinely more sensitive than men. So yes, one punch could give a woman a concussion.
He doesn't need prison though, huh? That exact same year, another woman accused him of attempting to put his fingers inside of her without her consent at a Miami nightclub.
Whoa.
And another woman from that same club, by the way, accused him of groping her. Surprise, without consent. I mean, Tremaine, what is wrong with you?
Okay.
All alleged, by the way, but like, when it's this much, is it alleged? Like, come on, bro. His full name is Tremaine Neverson. More like Tremaine never asked for a consent. But let me guess, you still somehow think, nah, he doesn't deserve prison. First of all, I'm gonna look at you a little crazy at this point.
Okay.
But second, I'm not even gonna play the clip, partially because Selena Powell, of all people, is a horrendous witness. Like, sometimes I don't be believing a fucking word that comes out of her mouth. If you know, you know. But she did make an almost 20-minute video with her friend and went on 2 separate podcasts alleging that Trey Songz kidnapped her by taking her phone while she was with him. And I'm not even gonna get into it. Just, you know what? Hold on.
One of the nastiest things you've ever done. Let's hear
Oh,
it.
I got too. Not
Peed
bad,
on.
not bad. I didn't know what was happening. He just did it. He just like.
Please say who?
Fuck Trey Songz. I don't give a.
Wait, how did he surprise you on you? What?
Okay, so I go to the bathroom to wipe my face, like in between rounds. He follows me in there. He's like, get in the bathtub. I'm like, okay. So I do, and I'm like laying down, and then he literally just peed on me like that, and I was like, what the f on my eyelashes? And he's like, you're fine, and I was like,
you're fine.
Oh, we're not done either. This woman named Winter Blanco that was on BGC, which is Bad Girls Club, accused Trey Songz of physically assaulting her. Do I need to roll the clip? Of course I do.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was friends with Trey Songz for years and he never did anything to me either. And then one day he did. And he put his hands on me and I never talked about it. This is the first time I've ever talked about this publicly. I really don't give a fuck anymore. He put his hands on me, scared the fuck out of me, and I never said anything. I never went to the police. I never answered the lawyers' calls when they was calling. I never tried to get some money out of it because at the time it was girls settling for $100,000, $200,000, and I never did it. In 2020, I had, when that girl came out saying that he raped her, I had her lawyer like reach out to me and was like, we're getting this stuff together and like we want you to be a part of it. And I was like, I can't be a part of it. But like now kind of where I am in my life is like, I'm tired of letting abusers get away with so much shit.
So like at this point, are we starting to get the gist that, alleged or not, how does all of this stuff get on your name specifically, bro?
I will say that this creepy dude, that niggas like him be knowing who to try with that shit. They definitely, it seems like they be knowing who to go for. And I don't mean that in a good way, or I don't know how that sounded to niggas, but I see a trend, I see a pattern, and man, I hope women start to speak up more, you know what I'm saying? And like kind of catch on to like that type shit, man. I know there's, 50 Shades of Grey and all these freaky ass movies and shit that kind of make women want to, even if you look at Twitter, bro, or like just porn and corn, I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, but like shit be so aggressive, like, and shit be so like, there's a lot of, and I'm not trying to shame anyone, but there's a lot of like, like domination, whether it's a woman dominating a dude or a dude dominating a girl. Like it's very graphic these days, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like today's environment really breeds niggas like Trey Songz. Pause. I feel like I should say pause. But let's keep going.
But like, it gets to a point. Like, I don't want to stretch this video out, but here's a screenshot of yet again another person that accused him of actual grape. 50 Cent even has something to say about this nigga. So, this is my thing. Trey Songz, like, this video was actually way longer, but I actually decided to cut some of the allegations out because I just wanted to get the worst ones. But there's plenty more, which just says a lot about Trey Songz as an individual.
Facts.
Alleged or not, whatever.
That's one thing I can't stand. I'm done with this video, y'all. If y'all want to go watch his video and hear his outro, there's the title right there. But this is my thing, bro. Even if he's never found guilty, he's had 10 plus people, let's say 5 people plus, come out and say, hey, this guy did this to me. You know what I'm saying? And there's more victims, just maybe they aren't willing to come out at the time. In that one girl's case, like, bro, I feel like after a while, I don't know. I don't want to, because maybe there are women out here just falsely accusing people. But the fact that he keeps settling, there should be a rule. Like, you can only settle 3 times before be like, no, nigga, get off the streets. You know what I'm saying? But you know what they say, money talks. You know what I'm saying? Bullshit walks. This is America. Let's not forget. But anyway, leave a like on the video, man. Appreciate y'all for watching till the end. You know what I'm saying? This was a long one, but yeah. It's just sad, bro, because Trey Songz, he could really be in the Hall of Fame, but that boy's struggling, man. Stop the video. If you would, just consider following me on Instagram and Spotify. I got a goal. I'm trying to get to 2,000 monthly listeners, and after that, I'm trying to get to 5,000 monthly listeners. Y'all have been great, man. I really appreciate y'all.